Hello guys and welcome to this video. Now I'm very excited to announce the winner of the Seiko Mods Dubai 5K giveaway. Now this is also possibly the first time a lot of you are seeing me, so hello. My name's Simon. I run Seiko Mods Dubai and SVK Watches. And I'd also like to shout out again Theo from modmodewatches.com, who is supplying the parts for the chosen build. So I decided to do a screen record type thing so that I can actually show you some of the submissions we got as well as the winner. So without further ado, let's have a look at some of that. Now, how I went about this is I shortlisted from 120 odd options. I got, I think, over 120 submissions to this competition. So first of all, thanks to everyone who spent time building their carts on Mod Mode watches, emailing them to me, explaining your ideas. I was really honestly impressed that I first got that many entries, but also the quality of them. So it was no mean feat to whittle those down to a short list of 10. So that was my first job. I shortlisted them down to 10, the top 10, and that was hard in itself. After that, I sent that shortlist over to Theo at Mod Mode Watches, who helped me pick his favorite 4. And that will turn out to be a shortlist of 6 entries, a runners-up section of 3 entries, and then, of course, one final winner. So I'll reveal the final winner at the end of this video. If you see yours in the shortlist or the runners-up, that means you didn't win, but that does mean you got into that top 10, which is actually more like the top 10% of entries. So very well done, and I really wanted to show off your work on here as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into those examples. So first off, we have Raymond from the Philippines, who I believe lives in Dubai. So Raymond, thank you very much for your entry. You were one of those top 10. The message from him goes, I hope you like my design, as I've always wanted a watch that has a green and gold color scheme, but couldn't find a Seiko that has this color combo. I also love the second hand to look like a Rolex Milgauss lightning hand. And what I really liked about this is that you realized there's a watch you want that doesn't quite exist, so you decided to go and try and design it. And looking through the parts, you've really chosen quality parts that would fit together, that will work, that will look good, and you've kind of balanced the colors throughout it as well, which I really liked. So well done, Raymond, for your entry. Next up, we had Enrique from Spain. So Enrique went for the white samurai dial. You'll see this appear a few times in this shortlist. It is a really nice style. What I really liked is the white and blue kind of icy color scheme that you've gone for. You've also even picked out the date wheel in blue text, which I think would look really good with that combination. So I also like the description. You'll find actually a lot of our shortlisted entries did explain their idea in some detail and often linked it to something else. So I love this name of a gentle samurai. I did some kind of gentle samurai with a polished chaptering, blue date wheel, and coinage bezel. It alternates between polished and brushed on different parts of the watch. I would love to own such a unique piece and have recently started watch collecting. So if you've recently started, Enrique, in your journey in watches, first of all, well done, because to be able to pick out all of these parts as somewhat of a beginner, you did an incredible job. I think you're going to have an excellent collection in the future, and thank you very much for this submission. Inocencio from the Philippines. Now, this is another one featuring somewhat similar parts. You've gone for the same dial, possibly the case, but what I really liked is your choice of colors and the reason for that. So the inspiration of this custom-made watch is the flag of the Philippines. The 3 colors combined together elevates the aesthetic of sporty casual look of this watch. I agree with that. You've gone for red, white, and blue overall color scheme. This one looks black, but it is actually red with a blue kind of first 15 minutes. And you've got the somewhat matching bezel there, a red strap, white dial, You've tried to balance those colors throughout. I also like the quite unusual turbine bezel you've picked. The movement, unfortunately, would be hidden by the dial, so we'd need to change that to an NH36 or 35. But overall, you picked out a really nice sporty watch that actually has some reference to your home country as well, which is excellent. So next up, we've got Kore from Turkey. Now, I was really impressed with this. You sent me a video of your cart, so I've just picked out the parts for you from Mod Mode Watches. But this really stood out. Let me read his message before I go over what he's done here. The idea for the build was that there is water in the desert. A green hand represents a palm tree. I would call this build Oasis in the Desert mod. That's why I chose the sandblasted case and everything. So he's picked out specifically sandblasted parts. I even like this bezel insert with a bit more of a distressed sandblasted look. So with reference to the desert, perhaps deserts of Turkey and so on. You've got this blue wave dial. You've got the bright green hand, which represents the palm tree, and the dial is somewhat sunk inside that desert. Oasis. 100%. This looks really cool, especially with the green rubber strap that you've picked for it. So a really good effort. I think this one would look incredible if we built it. And to be honest, all of the shortlisted and many of the non-shortlisted watches would all have looked great. So I've tried to pick out the more unique, interesting builds that really stood out. Richard in the USA, Texas, I believe. So Richard submitted something quite unusual. He says, I'll be getting married soon and would love to have a custom mod to be worn at my wedding. Now, first of all, Richard, congratulations on your wedding. I really hope all goes well. Now, the watch you've picked is, I think, pretty much perfect for your occasion. You've got a cocktail time pressage dial, this lovely light blue, which just screams sort of wedding to me. You've picked the AP style case. You've got a loomed chapter ring, a loomed date, and loomed hands. So this one's going to look beautiful in the daytime as well as pop at night when I'm sure you're having a great party at your wedding as well. So Richard, well done. Yeah, and good luck with everything. You picked a really, really nice design now. I would love to see these two combined at some point in the future as well. Next up is Patrick from Norway. Now, this shortlisted item shortlisted set was quite interesting. I think Patrick actually handed his design in pretty early on, and he has gone for a TAG Formula One crossover design. So he's been inspired by the TAG Heuer F1 watch collection, and he's got some black bezel parts, a more kind of angular case, a larger case, and that is not a watch that we typically pay homage to with Seiko Mod. So that's one thing that stood out to me. He's picked a watch that's a really interesting, different design, and he's tried to make a Seiko version of it. So really quite clever. If you haven't seen the watch I'm talking about, have a search for TAG Formula One, and you'll see what I mean. It's got this kind of ceramic or even sort of composite bezel material. So he's tried to match that there, which I really like the look of. So well done, Patrick from Norway. Excellent submission there. Now we move on to the runners up. So these three examples, Theo from Mod Mode picked out as well as the winner. So you guys get an extra special mention because Theo also agreed with me that you lot were some of the best watch designers we've seen so far. And the first one is Nils from Germany. So just have a read of this first. The design is inspired of a watch that my granddad always wore. It was silver and had many white and black tones. He told me that he liked it because it reminded him of a chessboard, and me and him would always play chess together until he passed. Until this day, I still can't get that watch, his watch, out of my head, and always wanted to remake it since I got into watch modding. And the only thing I want to change is use a rubber strap because I'm a sucker for rubber straps. So again, we see that samurai dial, that sort of waffle dial, But what I really like here is that you've gone for this sort of personal theme. You've gone for this chessboard theme, which is quite unusual as well. So it's completely sort of monochrome colors apart from the case. I think this would have looked really, really great. I'd love to build this watch at some point, Nils, as well. And again, it's something truly personal to you, and that's what Seiko modding is really about. So I love this design. Theo did as well. Thank you very much, Nils, for taking the time to hand it in to us. It was definitely up there in the last 4 places. Ricky from Aruba. I did not expect to get many entries from Aruba, but thank you, Ricky, for handing yours in. You've got a well, let me show you first. So this area here. So greetings from Aruba. You actually submitted 2 entries, but I've picked out my favorite of the 2 here. Both entries take inspiration from Conchi, which is a natural rock pool formation found here on Aruba. So he's taken this place in his home country as a inspiration for his build. So we've got the lovely blue sort of watery dial. We've got some black parts, PVD black, which kind of goes with the surrounding mountains and rock formations and so on. So really nice watch. I imagine this would look great when it's built. And I love that you managed to try and incorporate something that means something to you there as well, Ricky. So really well thought out, well presented. And like most of our winners and most of our sort of shortlisted entries, you've been really careful to pick parts that would actually fit together and work well together. Now, next runner-up is Tom from the UK. So congratulations, Tom, for making it to this stage. I wanted to create the rose gold case and bezel with a white bezel insert and a white dial. I selected blank, although I would have loved to see our indices with black strap, chapter ring, and crown and case back. So this one, I just found it really interesting. I really like this design. It's got a plain white dial, but then it's got this sort of teal colored day date and nice blue loomed Merc hands, and all the other parts are pretty simple and straightforward. And I think this would have actually gone together and made a super clean minimalist design. But it's got those splashes of color, like this teal color, I think is going to look great on this. So really interesting design there, Tom. Thank you very much for your entry and congratulations on being one of the runners up. Now we are going to move on to the winner. So I'm just going to bring my camera back as well so I can say a few words. So first of all, thank you all for submitting your ideas. It was a pleasure going through them. This is by far the best way to do a giveaway like this. I will be doing something like this again. So if you didn't win, don't worry, there will be further chances. I'll probably do one at 10K and so on, and cross between Instagram and YouTube. So the best thing to do is to follow me on Instagram as well, at Seiko Mods Dubai, as well as you've got links to YouTube. Check out my website, by the way, svkwatches.ae and Mod Mode Watches. But it is time to announce the winner. So very well done to James Saunderson. Well done, James. You have won the 5K giveaway. That means I am going to build you this design. Theo's going to Theo's going to send us the parts from Mod Mode Watches, and I will be shipping your watch to you really quite soon. So let's see what James came up with, because I guarantee this is going to impress you guys as well. So here's James's entry. James, you honestly blew me away with your design idea, but also your explanation behind it. Just have a look at these images as I read you his submission as well. So, paying respect to an era gone by, I wanted to go for a feudal Japan look, one that better captures the warrior culture that dominated a centuries-long era where so many consecutive generations only knew war. I wanted the watch to embody multiple aspects of period Japanese wartime. So I think we can all probably get the overall idea here. It's a samurai wartime inspired watch, Japanese style. You've gone for an original Seiko dial, you've gone for the samurai case, you've gone for this unusual bezel insert, which is quite simple, military-esque, but also a bit retro. You've gone for the snowflake hands, you've gone for a black kanji date wheel with gold elements, rose gold chapter ring, a knurled bezel. And this is not all that James mentioned about his watch design. So on the next few slides, I'm going to show you the level of detail he went into to decide what he was going to do. And this is what truly set his entry apart from most of the others, is that every single piece of this watch was well thought out and embodies the entire idea he was going for. So the case, so it'll be it'll set the foundation with an armored look and will look handsome, and with the handsome angles and sharper blocky edges. So yes, samurai case, totally appropriate. The dial with the black texture is beautifully reminiscent of the chainmail worn by samurai, as well as texture of their body armor plating. So, you know, even just the dial, polished silver stick markers properly convey the look of katana blades, and the traditional Japanese sword. So the handset, so just even thinking about the handset, you've got 3 hands there. He's explained why each of them would make sense for this Japanese wartime theme. The rose gold chapter ring, this is something that we weren't sure about. Theo mentioned as well that, you know, it might look a bit out of place. I disagree. I thought it would still work well. And James, of course, explained it as well. So the chapter ring rose gold gives a bit of flair and a touch of grandeur, as though this was a more ceremonial samurai armor on display in an emperor's palace. The property of a wealthy warlord. The brushing allows it to have presence without standing out too much, and the markings keep the reminder of that warrior armor feel. The bezel, that knurled bezel we saw, a truly knurled bezel, keeps the theme of pattern texture, armor, particularly on the samurai helmet. And again, that would match the dial quite well. Now the bezel insert, the sloping bezel insert with radial lines reminds me of a straw rice field worker's hat, a common disguise for many ninjas. It also reminds me of a karate black belt with the white stripes to mark one's rank. And then finally, we've got the crystal, the crown, the movement. Of course, you've got the gold elements there, which would match the chapter ring, which would match the Japanese theme. The bracelet, of course, you've got the angular bracelet to match the case. Basically, you guys get the idea. I think you'll probably agree with me that James is a very worthy winner of this competition. I can't wait to build this watch for you, James. So really well done. You've gone into so much detail here that I feel like I'm learning by reading what you've written. You're clearly really into Japanese culture, Japanese history, and now watches, of course, and you've put that all together in an impressive submission. So congratulations to James. Very well done. Hopefully everyone watching this video will agree. Thank you very much to all of the entrants as well. And a massive thanks to Theo at modmodewatches.com. As you can see, guys, you can build up almost any type of design just from one store, and that's Mod Mode Watches. They've got such a nice range of parts, really high quality. Theo's a great guy. He'll help you out with anything. So thank you very much to Theo as well for sponsoring the parts for this build. The next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to get those parts from Mod Mode Watches. I'm going to be building the watch. Of course, I'm going to share it with you. Of course, I'm going to do a video on it. So please do subscribe and continue following me on Instagram as well. And yes, if you took part in this competition, you didn't get as far as the shortlist or even the final prize, don't worry, guys, there will be more opportunities. I hope you found it interesting as, if anything, a learning experience on how to assemble a watch design too. But thank you all for watching. Congratulations to James, and best of luck with your future watch ideas. I'll see you next time, guys, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.